Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. The Mirror reported on Harry and Meghan's net worth. 4 years after stepping down from their roles as senior working royals, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's combined net worth has been estimated at $60 million. The couple, who now reside in a lavish $14 million mansion in Montecito, have managed to secure their financial independence despite the challenges faced since their royal departure. Since their move to the United States, Prince Harry and Meghan have secured several lucrative deals. In 2020, they signed a deal with Netflix, reportedly worth around $100 million. The couple also secured a $20 million advance from publisher Penguin Random House for a reported 4-book deal, which included Prince Harry's memoir, Spare. Additionally, the Sussexes signed a $25 million deal with Spotify in late 2020, which saw Meghan release her Archetypes podcast. However, the couple and Spotify have recently parted ways, with a Spotify executive allegedly branding them effing grifters. Prior to marrying into the British royal family, Meghan was an actress working on the hit legal drama Suits, where she earned a reported $50,000 per episode. Her estimated net worth before joining the royal family was around $5 million. As working royals, the couple received 95% of their annual income from King Charles, with the remaining 5% coming from taxpayer-funded sovereign grant. Upon their departure from royal duties, King Charles reportedly gave them a substantial sum to help with the transition. Looking ahead, Meghan Markle is preparing to launch her new brand, American Riviera Orchard, offering a range of products including fragrance, sachets, non-medicated skincare preparations, bath and shower gels, soaps, lotions, and cosmetics. She'll also host a cooking show for Netflix, while Queen Elizabeth rolls over in her grave. Royal expert Angela Levin told GB News, "Meghan could have had it all. I remember the king saying how happy he was that she had joined the family and she would understand them because she comes from a divorced background. That was very kind and accepting of her, but it's foolish." Levin also did not have kind things to say about American Riviera Orchard. Putting up one page for her new website was ridiculous because nothing has followed it. That's because people don't want to put money into it. They know what she is like. They know that she is very difficult, and they are not necessarily wanting to buy jam and tablecloths. There is nothing there. And the timing of that, just before Harry spoke about his mother and her charity in respect of her passing, Meghan took away his spotlight moment, and that was very cruel. She did it really because she couldn't bear him to be in the spotlight. New York Magazine shared the life of being a royal reporter. We learned the life of a royal correspondent is structured around the official engagement. It wasn't always the case, but as the job has changed, the official engagements are the best chance to see the working royals in action and the best chance to talk to officials, the people who work for them. Those official engagements are very choreographed, and often the story is when the choreography goes wrong or when something unexpected happens. So when they first announced on the same day that both Kate and Charles were going into a hospital and both were going to need a period of recuperation, I think the feeling was, what are we going to do? There's not going to be anything to write for a couple of months. Of course, it hasn't turned out like that. It's been crazy. The working day has partly been reacting to all the rumors. It was pressure from editors to come up with a fresh story, a fresh line, trying to weigh how seriously to take some of the stuff that you are reading from elsewhere, from abroad in particular, because don't forget, the American press has been deeply involved in all of this. We were always in a difficult position. I just thought that being a reporter meant you just get the facts and then you tell the readers what the facts were. But on the royal beat, it's much more than that. You have to think, well, what are the readers going to say? The editors think, how is this going to look? We had that situation where Kate hadn't been seen since Christmas, and then Backgrid had taken a picture of her in a car traveling with her mother. A couple of people claimed that the British papers decided not to run that picture because the palace put huge pressure on them not to do it. As far as I'm aware, that's not the case. I think papers decided it's probably not going to be a good look if we run those pictures. Of course, the readers themselves are hypocrites. Just about every person I've met in the last 3 months, whether they are ardent monarchists, strong Republicans, or just completely indifferent, have asked me, so what's really going on with Kate? And what about the king? What type of cancer has he got? The truth is, I don't think anybody in the media knew, but I think everybody thinks, oh, they really know what's going on, but we didn't. This period took me back to the last days of the Queen and Prince Philip, when there were constant rumors like, oh, Prince Philip died, can you ring the palace and check? As a special correspondent, you get absolutely fed up with it. You're tempted to just say, of course he hasn't died, don't be ridiculous. But you're also worried that the one time you say that will be the one time that, gosh, it really has happened. I think the British monarchy is going to need to make a bit of a splash, perhaps in the second half of this year or early next year, to get things back on track, because it does feel as if things have been derailed. If they don't come back that strongly, then that, I think, will be a worry for the British monarchy because there's a very small cast of characters who people actually care about. To be frank with you, I think Edward and Sophie are lovely, and Princess Anne is very popular and is admired for just doing that old-fashioned work, opening the hospitals, going to charity shops, whatever. But it's really just the King and Queen and William and Kate who are at the box office. And of course, we did have Harry and Meghan, and that's the other element to it, that in spite of what a lot of people abroad think, the British press wanted Harry and Meghan to be there. They embraced Meghan. They thought that she was fantastic box office material who would help sell a lot of papers, bring about a lot of clicks. But we've lost them, and I don't think there's much prospect of them coming back for now, because I don't think the future of the monarchy lies in part-time royals who are off making money. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Despite previously insisting that he was done with the royal family after the conclusion of the controversial sixth series of The Crown, writer Peter Morgan may be tempted to return to the subject. Insiders suggest he remains intrigued by two royal stories he might decide to tell: the abdication of Edward VIII in 1936 to marry divorcee Wallis Simpson, and the tale of Queen Mary, wife of George V. The idea would be to create a mini-series or a couple of them for Netflix. Morgan is reportedly working with one of the senior producers from The Crown, although at this point it's all informal, with no contracts signed or deals done. A source says everyone felt slightly traumatized by the time we got to the end of The Crown, but Peter is circling a couple of ideas again, and we shall see where it ends up. King Edward VIII's abdication after a reign of just 325 days was announced in a BBC broadcast where he told his subjects, "I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility and to discharge my duties as king, as I would wish to do without the help and support of the woman I love." Simpson, a twice-divorced American socialite, caused a constitutional crisis due to the king's infatuation with her. However, the other story intriguing Morgan is that of Edward's mother, Queen Mary. Initially engaged to her cousin, Prince Albert, who was second in line to the throne but died during an influenza outbreak, Mary became engaged to his brother George the following year. George later became King George V. As Queen Consort, Mary instituted an austerity drive at Buckingham Palace during World War I. Her youngest son, John, who had epileptic seizures and was kept out of the public eye, died in 1919 at the age of 13 without attending his father's coronation. While a friend of Morgan's confirmed he is considering these new royal stories, they added that in the immediate future he is focusing on a number of different projects. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. Hit those 5 stars on Apple or write us a review. We'll read them right here. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.